you check the children. Show a little match sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes. That is what
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Well, hello there, Fright fans, and welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Jaime and Fuego, and back for another in-theater review. And so this actually just hit this past weekend. It is a Latinx horror film from, I just wanted to make sure I was double-checking on every single name. So this is from director Felipe Vargas, and it stars Emerald Tobia, also Jose Zuniga, and David Desmalchin, but yeah, he's not really in this movie very much. So in any event, it's entitled Rosario, and this is a film about a girl played by Emerald, and she is, well, we meet her at the very beginning of the film when she is at her first communion, and so it's New York City. I can't remember if it's Brooklyn or the Bronx, but anyway, it's in the city, and she's there with her extended Latino family. And so first communion, obviously a big thing with the extent of Catholicism and just you know, that permeation of both that or Christianity, because they are different things. That's slightly different, but only a kid raised Reformed Baptist who's now an agnostic would give that sort of clarification. But yeah, guys, and so but you learn very quickly that first and foremost, her mother seems to be like deathly sick, all right? But then also at the same rate, her abuela, her grandmother, is well, she seems to be a very dark presence in this particular apartment. You know, she doesn't want to come out for the festivities. Her room just emotes like just a very sort of spooky atmosphere. And so, yeah, it's kind of a creepy situation. And then we fast forward to Rosario, all grown up, and she is still in New York City, and she is a very powerful investment person. She has risen the ranks. She is insanely successful and wealthy. You can tell how wealthy she is based on the place that she lives. This just beautiful, like, skyrise viewpoint, and she's grown up to be a very, very beautiful woman, and they do emphasize that a little bit, you know, with her attire and with, you know, getting in the tub, all this different stuff, and some of the clothing she wears later in the movie. Very extenuating, you know, but not to like an overly sexualized fashion. But yes, Emerald is very, very beautiful, and she's a pretty solid actress in this too. As far as overall thoughts go, this is still, sorry, I get this itch in my damn nose. But this movie is, aside from, you know, the fact that it's a Latinx film, it's pretty generic in a lot of ways. It's a one location for the most part. Dead body in an apartment. It kind of reminds me of a film that I saw a few years ago. I'm trying to remember if it was called The Vigil or what it was, but it was where this Jewish man, there was a dead corpse of a loved one, and I can't remember if it was a loved one or if he was just like somebody who was left to go. But essentially, in Jewish culture, you go and you sit with the dead corpse while the spirit is presumably still like locked in there until it can be taken and properly cared for and buried and stuff. And so you will essentially sit with the corpse for like the first 24 hours after death or whatever. And this kind of had some vibes of that movie in the fact that she gets a call at the very beginning after we fast forward to her as an adult and, you know, this successful investor and everything, but also kind of incurring a little bit of negative karma because there's this storm that is rolling in. And so this heating company that they're about to like sell the stock on, and she's talking with her assistant about it. And she's like, no, there's this blizzard. She looks at the news and sees that this blizzard is coming in to the tri-state area. And she's like, you know what? Let's like up it. Let's not sell it off. And I forget the terminology that she uses. And so, yeah, man, that's, you can tell that even though she has like a good heart about her, there is some nuance, and there are the slight little shades of gray in the fact that she's just like, yeah, you know, let it snow, you know, let's invest in this company because it's going to be good for business. And sure enough, you know, as the storm rolls in, the heating stuff goes up, whatever. It's pretty instantaneous, which is funny. But then she has been ducking calls from her grandmother on her cell throughout the course of the day, and then she finally answers and finds out it's like the super at the complex where her grandmother lives, her abuela, and they're like, yeah, your abuela, she's está muerta, you know, she's passed on, and we are trying to, like, she doesn't have like documentation, she doesn't have like anything, no socials, whatever, because she had come over from a different country, and so yeah, so she has to go and like attend to the body until the ambulance gets there. But the big point is that this storm rolls in just as it's happening, and so she ends up getting stranded there, and she gets to peel back the layers of this. I forget the particular name that is utilized for it. I'm assuming this is a research sort of thing, but it is a combination between some essences of African mysticism and then Spanish Catholicism, which is quite interesting. And so it's a melding of these two, and so it does have that sort of occultishness to it, I suppose, but then it's also like melded with, you know, the sort of Catholicism. So it's a very odd melding, but really it's utilizing aspects of like, you know, like what appear to be voodoo dolls, and there's like, you know, utilizing also like pieces of humans, whether like humans and animals, like old skulls and, you know, teeth, and, you know, at one point we see like an old tampon, like just weird things being used to commune with the other world and to either like lay curses upon people or make bargains for, you know, success or for specific positive things to happen, whatever. And so where I will say, and so I've given you essentially the setup. Rosie's stuck there, so yeah, she's stuck there. There's the storm outside. She's waiting for her father to drive in from Jersey, but it's going to take like 3 hours in this storm to get over the bridge and everything. And so it's really her researching more in this dilapidated, disgusting apartment with like worms and, you know, just decay and gross dishes and everything. She discovers like these little, now this is where I gotta just kind of scratch my head a little bit, because a dilapidated old apartment like this, like in the city, there's no way, like the sort of crazy passageways and stuff. I guess maybe she was able to, you know, break through and just find these weird little like crawl spaces and whatever that are utilized. And so she discovers more and more of this like very dark religion that her abuela was involved in. And you know, set design is really good. She starts seeing things after a while, like she sees like a apparition of her dead mother. She sees like, you know, the corpse is done up really well. At times the makeup work is really good. It is R-rated. It doesn't really push it with the scares like super hard, but this feels like mid-tier Blumhouse is the best way that I can describe it, you know, where it's definitely not full-on suctitude, you know, and it does have a good performance from our lead, although she is being one location and being really the only person there, aside from the occasional interaction with David Desmalchin, who's barely in this, but I can understand success of Late Night with the Devil. You know, he has a very small role in this. Let's emphasize his presence in the movie, maybe get some more butts in the seats. It helped to get mine in there, you know, also because I like seeing a Latino take to religious horror. I do appreciate that. But yeah, man, I mean, at the end of the day, as I've already hit on, you know, story and overall thoughts. Overall thoughts, I mean, you know, back at the beginning, it was good. It was solid, you know, but it wasn't anything that broke the mold. But it was very competent in what it did. I will definitely, I will definitely say that. Some stuff that happens in the third act veers a lot into tropes, but that's fine. I'm not here to spoil stuff, guys. I like the actor. I believe that is Zunyaga. Sorry. The actor who plays the father, I most definitely recognize, so I was happy to see his presence. He was really the only face in this movie besides Desmalchin that I recognized. But, you know, it's good that it's getting a theatrical release, although this feels more served to me like it could have just been more at home on where it's likely going to end up after the fact. It's going to end up on a Screambox or a Shudder, and, I mean, there were only 2 other people in the theater when I saw it, and this was on, like, a Saturday, you know, Saturday, middle of the afternoon, well, late afternoon. I mean, prime time, you would think. Maybe the Friday evening screening had more butts in there, maybe other areas of the country, but I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona, where we have, like, you know, a big Latino presence. So Yeah, man, I mean, I don't know, and the score and whatever didn't really do much for me, but the sound design's really good, especially when, you know, just crunching the bodies. And for me, though, the best thing was that they took so much time and attention to making the little just pieces that the grandmother utilized in her ritualistic stuff, the makeup, and like some of the bits of like the decaying corpse, makeup on like the apparition, like rotting pieces of face, the actual like looked like they were using practical, like, you know, like gnats or worm bugs or whatever the hell you would describe them as. I mean, the set of this apartment, now granted, it's one place to really just notch up, but they did a hell of a job there. And also the performance from our lead in the Rosario was quite good. But yeah, aside from that, I mean, run of the mill, and that's the disappointing thing about it, because I was really hoping for something that was gonna break the mold just a little bit more, but it's not bad. And I think if you did take the time to check out Rosario, maybe not rush out to a theater though. Wait until it hits VOD. Wait until it pops up on a streamer. But yeah, guys, there's not really too much else to say about this one. It was quite short. It was less than 90 minutes, so it's not like a massive dedication of time. Definitely not a disappointment, but nothing that really like wowed me in any sort of revelationary fashion. But, you know, I watch a lot of horror, so there's a lot of things I could compare it to that were better. So, but I'm not going to do that. So, in any event, guys, I extend the grande gracias to anybody tuning into this video. I have been Jaime and Fuego, I guess the very akin name to be reviewing this. I'm on all socials, Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the Tiki-Talkies, all of them. Yeah, but the most important thing is that you guys are here. Like it, share it, subscribe it if you dig the review, and also comment if you check this out. If you thought it was way worse, am I being too kind to it? If you think that this did break the mold a little bit more so than I'm giving it the lacking credit for, let us know in the comments below. And that's going to do it for today, guys, and for the latest in-theater review from yours truly. Much more coming in the next few weeks as I am done with my bachelor's at Arizona State, so very stoked about that. In any event, I've been Fuego. Y'all have been rad status. Gracias once again for your time. And until the next instance when we get to share some palaver, Fright fans, remember, stay scared.